Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now last week I did a video on showing my 20 favourite albums from the 1970s that peaked at number 2 in the UK albums charts. And so I said I would do the 1980s next, and well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I've got 20 albums here, all peaking at number 2, so I'll go through them all and just tell you which tracks I like, etc. Okay, number 20 and is from 1987, and it's Chris Rea's Dancing with Strangers, and this is probably my favourite Chris Rea album. Now it does have the hit Let's Dance on it, which I think is really good. However, it has the track Que Sera, which is probably my favourite Chris Rea song of all time. Absolutely love it. The single version of it was shortened and remixed with added instruments. It's every bit as good, except it's not as long as this, which means I prefer this version, but the melody of it is absolutely brilliant. And then you get Joys of Christmas and as well I Can't Dance to That, Windy Town, very good song, and Loving You Again. I'm not too sure if it was a single, but this is a really good album, and it's the time whenever he dyed his hair blonde. So that's my number 20. At number 19, and it is unfortunately a posthumous album, it's Roy Orbison's Mystery Girl, and this actually charted higher than both the Travelling Wilburys albums. It's got the huge hit You Got It, written with Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty, and She's a Mystery to Me, which was written by Bono and The Age of U2. But other great tracks off this are California Blue, beautiful. I Love So Beautiful is a gorgeous song written by Jeff Lynne, and he does a really good version of Elvis Costello's The Comedians, and also he does Careless Heart, which was written by Albert Hammond. So a very strong album and a huge hit for him. And number 18, and I thought this actually got to number 1, but it didn't. It's Fairground Attraction, First of a Million Kisses, from 1988 I believe, or 87, I think it was 88. This has got the number 1 hit single Perfect on it, but even the better single Find My Love, which is absolutely gorgeous. However, the highlight of this track is a song called Moon on the Rain. Really good. Eddie Reader's vocals are absolutely fantastic, and yeah, really strong album. And Mark Nevin of Fairground Attraction went on to work with Morrissey on his Kill Uncle album, an album not many people like, but I think it's one of his best. Okay, 1981, this is my number 17 on the Status Quo, and Never Too Late. Now this was more or less recorded at the same time as the previous album, Just Supposing, but this has the hit single Something About You Baby I Like, which I think is great. The title track is brilliant, but the best song off here is a track called Don't Stop Me Now. It's not the Queen song, it's an Alan Lancaster song, and it is absolutely magnificent. And they do also a really rousing version of Carol, the Chuck Berry song. So that's my number 17, Never Too Late. And at number 16, from 1981, it's UB40, Present Arms. And I've always said these first few albums of UB40 are really good. This again got to number 2, as they all did, and this has 1 in 10, the big hit single off it, along with the double A side of Don't Slow Down and Don't Let It Pass You By. However, the best track off this is Present Arms, the opener, absolutely brilliant. And they were more a political force back in the day, in the very early 80s, before they turned into like a brilliant covers band. However, Present Arms, fantastic album, number 16. And number 15, and I'm going to give it to Duran Duran's Rio. There's no doubt this is their best album, and I'm very surprised this did not reach the number 1 position. The singles off this were My Own Way, which is a different version to the actual single that came out the previous year. Hungry Like a Wolf, classic Duran Duran song, and then you have Save a Prayer and Rio itself. Really strong album, but Whole Black Lorraine is brilliant, and Lonely in Your Nightmare very good as well. So it's a very good album, and I don't think they actually bettered this. I quite like their next album as well, but it's not quite as good as Rio. At number 14 from 1981, and it's Toya, an Anthem. and this is her best-selling studio album with the two big hit singles. It's The Mystery, which are unbelievably good, and I Want to Be Free. But there's other really great tracks off this, like We Are, uh, Obsolete, Pop Star, Marionette, Maasai Boy, very very good, I Am, and of course Jungles of Jupiter. Really good album by Toya, a very very underrated artist in my opinion. And at number 13, and we go back to UB40 again, and it's Signing Off, their debut album. And this is the one with Food for Thought on it, which was a double A side with King. Both tracks are on this. And then you have My Way of Thinking was a double A side with I Think It's Going to Rain Today, but My Way of Thinking didn't get on this. The cover version of the Randy Newman song, the Rain Today one, got on it. It's a really really good version. Tyler is an excellent opener, 12 bar, has got fantastic saxophone through it, really strong album, and so it gets my number 13. And number 12, and this was released in 1983, but it didn't reach number 2 until 1984, and it's Billy Joel's An Innocent Man, and there's God knows how many singles off this. Uptown Girl was one, then Tell Her About It, An Innocent Man, then the doo-wop of The Longest Time, and then two further singles were released, Leave a Tender Moment Alone, which I think was a double A side with the track of The Nylon Curtain, the one Goodnight Saigon, and the last one was This Night, which steals from I think it's a Bach or Beethoven, or one of the composers anyway. But this is a really really strong album. There are a couple of songs I'm not as keen on, like Lazy Money and what's the other one called, Christy Lee, but still very good. And I think Keeping the Faith was actually a single in America, which is a good song. So but this was massive in the early to mid 80s for Billy Joel, and that was his rock and roll album really, and it's my number 12. Number 11, and it's Elvis Costello and Get Happy, and this was the follow up to Armed Forces. And yeah, this has got 20 tracks on it, but they're really really short, so the sound quality is still very good. The singles I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down, very good, and I believe the other singles were, if I can read these, New Amsterdam and High Fidelity. But other great songs like Black and White World is one of my favourites, and there's one that I really like. It's got a bit of a sort of almost ska feel to it, and it is Human Touch, really good. Opportunity, very good as well. Love for Tender. It's a good album. It is one of his best, but it's very soulful. It's almost like Motowny type songs, but still really good. And that's my number 11. And at number 10 is Dexys Midnight Runners and Tu Raye, and this has got the huge hit single Come On Eileen on it, along with the Celtic Soul Brothers, which was actually the first single released off this album. It didn't do too well, and then it became the third single. And the one in the middle is Jackie Wilson Said, the Van Morrison song, and on top of the pops whenever they were performing it, they had a big picture of Jockey Wilson, not Jackie Wilson, Jockey Wilson, the Scottish darts player, in the background, so they made a real boob there. But this has got some really good songs, like Old is probably one of the best songs off this. Liars A to E is great. Let's Make This Precious, really strong album. In fact, those two Dexys albums, the first two, are absolutely brilliant. So at number 9 we have from 1983 Echo and the Bunnyman Porcupine with the two hit singles, The Back of Love and the absolutely magnificent The Cutter. Gods Will Be Gods is really good. Heads Will Roll is one of the best tracks off this, and In Blue Skies is really good, as is what's the one I really like, Clay. Clay's extremely catchy, but really good album, and it's between that and the next one, which I think is the best of their early period. I can't remember the name of the next one. It's the one with Silver and Seven Seas on it. I'll put it on the screen. At number 8, and we have from 1982 and Yazoo and Upstairs at Eric's with two hit singles, Only You and Don't Go. but it's got the exceptionally catchy Bad Connection. Two Pieces is a very good song, and Tuesday and Winter Kills is very good, but probably the best track off this is Midnight, and Alison Moy's voice is unbelievable in this. So that is my number 8. Number 7, and I'm going to give this to the Rolling Stones, Tattoo You, because I really do like this album. Now, I do prefer side 2 to side 1, although side 1 still has Start Me Up on it, and it also has Slave on it as well, Little T&A, which is a bit of fun, but it's not that brilliant. Neighbours is one of the songs I don't really like off this. However, side 2 is magnificent with Tops, Worried About You, No Use in Crying, and the wonderful Waiting on a Friend. I just think this sounds so good, even though it's cobbled together from outtakes from previous albums in the 70s and even 1980. So Tattoo You is my number 7. At number 6 we have Queen and The Works. You know, no Hot Space because it didn't reach number 2, but this one did. This should have been number 1. 4 hit singles, and funny enough, each hit single was written by a different member of the band. So Radio Gaga was written by Roger Taylor, and Want to Break Free was written by John Deacon. It's a Hard Life, Freddie Mercury, and A Hammer to Fall, Brian May. But it also has Keep Passing Through Open Windows, which I think is great. And I also like Man on the Prowl, which is like a bit of a Jerry Lee Lewis type tribute, whereas Crazy Little Thing Called Love is more Elvis Presley. I actually do prefer Man on the Prowl, and Machines Are Back to Humans is weird, but it actually works quite well. The only track I'm not that keen on is this, The World We Created, because I just think it's a bit saccharine, but it's a really strong album. Incidentally, the version of I Want to Break Free on the album is not as good as the single version. It was extended, it's too short here, with instrumental passage in the middle missing, and even the opening missing, but still very strong album. So at number 5, and we have from 1989 and Welcome to the Beautiful South. 3 hit singles off this, and they are I'll Sail This Ship Alone was the third one, You Keep It All In was the second one, and Song for Whoever, which is a very clever Dick song. It really is. Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and the vocal interchange between Paul Heaton and Dave Hemingway is fantastic. But you also get Woman in the Wall, which is actually my favourite track off this. I think it's great, and it's Dave Hemingway that actually does take the lead vocal. Have You Ever Been Away? It's very good. There's a couple of songs that really do sound a little bit like the House Martins, but not much. I Love You But You're Boring, I think is fantastic. It's quite atmospheric, but it's really good. So Welcome to the Beautiful South is my number 5. And number 4, and it's the debut album by the Smiths from 1984. And Hand in Glove was a single, although this is a remix version. This remix is better than the single version. And the only other single off this was What Difference Does It Make, although This Charming Man was on this album in the States. But this is great with Reel Around the Fountain and You've Got Everything Now. The only one I'm not keen on is Miserable Lie, but Still Ill should have been released as a single here, and Suffer Little Children is one of the best ever songs they wrote. So my number 4 is the Smiths, the debut album. And number 3, and we have The Jam and Sound Effects. Yes, it didn't reach number 1, and this has Start on it, which is slightly different to the single version. It's slightly extended with a few horns put in. I prefer the single version. That's Entertainment was an import single and a hit for them, top 30 at the end of 1980, or it might have been actually 81, I'm not sure. But this has Pretty Green on it, really good opener. Monday is a beautiful ballad. But I'm Different Now is pure mid-60s pop rock. Man in the Corner Shop, really good. Boy About Town, very mod type song. Set the House Ablaze, which is I think a little bit similar to sort of funeral pyre sound, but it's a very strong album, and it's a lot of people's favourite album. Again, the one song I'm not overly keen on, but it's not too bad, is Scrape Away. So my number 2 from the 1980s, that's Adam Nance, Prince Charming. I just think this is absolutely brilliant. Now, funny enough, whenever I first bought this, I wasn't overly impressed, but repeated plays has really shot this album up for me. The two big hit singles are Stand and Deliver and Prince Charming. And then there's Ant Rap, which was released as a single but in a slightly reworked form. The single version is better, but other great tracks. The horns on Scorpios is fantastic. Picasso Visits the Planet of the Apes. It's written in Spanish and I can't remember, but that's what it translates as. Is one of the best songs and could have been a single. That Voodoo is brilliant. Five Guns West, great. Sex is a really, really good ending. The two songs that are tough to get into are Mohawk and Mile High Club, but the more you play them, the more you appreciate them. So my number two, although it's not as good as Kings of the Wild Frontier, it's not that far away in my opinion. So Prince Charming's my number two. So the best album in the 80s to stall at number two is The Smiths and The Queen Is Dead. And the two big hit singles off this were The Boy with a Thorn in the Side and Big Mouth Strikes Again. I say big hit singles, big in Smith's fandom, but they just made the top 30 and no more. There Is a Light That Never Goes Out is probably the most famous song off this, and it was a single in the early 90s. The Queen Is Dead, one of the best ever songs, absolutely brilliant. Frankly, Mr. Shankly is very funny. I know it's over, it's miserable sounding, oh mother I can feel the soil falling over my head, but it's so good. It's a really excellent track. Even Never Had No One Ever, which it works really well within the album, but as a starting, if you took it off the album it doesn't work that well, but within the album it's excellent as well. Cemetery Gates is a really good acoustic number, and Vicar in a Tutu, hilarious, and it finishes with Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others, which is really good. So that's my favourite album from the 1980s to peak at number two. Okay, that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.